today I have got a beautiful guest speaker with me, Lauren Violet. She is a multi-nominated and award-winning sex and relationship therapist, educator, and mentor, dedicated to empowering individuals and couples to enhance their intimacy, sexual connections, and relationships. Through her various mentorship programs, she works with clients in one-on-one settings, as couples or in groups, addressing a wide range of topics, including high conflict relationships, negative cycles, deeper intimacy, sexual expression, attachment styles, forbidden fantasies and taboo desires, BDSM, kink exploration, non-monogamy, and repairing relationship ruptures. I love that. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on here, and I love it all too. Even hearing you read out about me and all the things that I do, they just excite me, right? Just in my body, I still get all the full body tingles and the yes, love them.
Yeah, I've started doing that, and everyone who's coming on as a guest speaker is like, oh my God, that intros make me feel so I'm highlighting you, and they're all like, oh my God, this is amazing. That's me.
Yeah, I'm I love it. My little praise kink comes on. I'm like, tell me more.
Yes, praise king. Love that one too. I think you're just a perfect person to talk about all things kink BDSM. I love the way you address things, that you are shame-free, non-judgmental, and in fact embracing it, but also in a safe, consensual way. So this is what I would love to chat about today. But before we're going to get into all of that, I usually ask a couple questions to get to know our guest speaker.
Yes.
Where are you currently at on your self-love and pleasure journey, and what brings you the most pleasure?
Oh, I love that question. So I am actually currently in a long-term monogamous relationship. But in the last 12 months, we've transitioned into FIFO, where he's away for 4 weeks at a time, and then he's back for 4 weeks at a time. So I'm currently on week 4 of him being away. And this means that for me, every second month, my self-love and pleasure and my self-seduction and my self fucking the shit out of myself journey is just skyrockets every second month. It just it goes even more. So where I'm currently at is right now, right now is, I'm not going to lie, I get distracted by thoughts and fantasies of sex almost all day long. And multiple times a day, I'll be like, I might go masturbate now. I might go masturbate now. And I'm at this beautiful yet also frustrating place with it, where I'm I love self-pleasure. I love having sex with myself. I love it. And at the same time, there's this frustrating edge of I want to be touched by someone. And it's the 4 weeks while he's gone is intense. So that's where I'm at. I hope that answers the question. I'm I love it, and I do a lot of it, especially on this month. And I also, there's an element and an edge of frustration to it.
What brings you the most pleasure?
Interesting.
It could be anything.
Yeah. I'm really big on full body movement and full body self-touch. And if I can do it naked outside too, that is with oil, that is everything for me. Even as we talk about it, my hips are already they move. I like moving. That movement for me, just it unlocks and ignites the energy that's in my body, just waiting all the time. And so if I can move and touch my whole entire body, that brings me the most, really freely, that brings me the most pleasure.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Opens yourself up, because that's the way we step into our body space, and opens yourself up for more pleasure. Love that.
Yeah. Before I even do any genitals or toys or anything, it's that movement. And I said, I can be naked outside. Oh my God, yes. It's ultimate freedom.
The topic that I would like to talk about with you today is kink, BDSM related, and especially with a focus on how to approach it in a safer, consensual way. Because when I got into all of that 10, 12 years ago, me would have loved to know all of that, what I know by now. because I've fallen for like the fake doms, abusive relationships and all that stuff because I just didn't know better. The education wasn't out there. So I think it's a really good topic because I have got a lot of listeners who are exploring their kink and their BDSM and who are also within relationships who want to start exploring it, or who are single and want to seek out a dom. And nowadays you read on the dating apps, yeah, I'm a dom, but then like that's it. And then they go into it and they don't know what to expect and how to like identify them.
Yeah.
So I thought before we start, how did you get into like kink BDSM? How was your journey in this regard? Did you have like any negative experience that turned into like an empowering one?
Yeah, I love that. It's a big question. I first of all can definitely identify that for me, like kink and BDSM, it's like an adult version of play, right? Like it's like when we were like 5 years old and we pretended to be mummies and daddies, and it was like, well, you've been naughty, I'm going to spank you, or tie me up. Like I loved getting tied up when I was a little kid. So I definitely identify with, I look through my childhood and teen years and I'm like, oh, I can see there was elements of it there, but I had no idea, no education around what that was, right? It's not at sex ed in school. It
Yeah.
definitely was not talked about by my religious family. So I did notice when I was married in my 20s that I had all these things that I loved. Like I wanted to like do more stuff in public together. I loved being watched, and I wanted to like incorporate food into stuff and like into our sex. And frequently in my marriage, I just got turned down with all that stuff. So it probably wasn't until I left that space. And I think this is where for me, a lot of the ways that I approach kink and BDSM and invite others and guide my clients to when I work with people is based on how my world opened up to it, which was actually through Tantra.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I was at
Wow.
this sacred sexuality Tantra village retreat for like 10 days or something. And every night we would have a temple night. And at the temple, all the kinksters would come out and I always love this, but at lots of temples, I'd have people like lining up being like, can I spank you? Like they just wanted to. And I always loved it because I was like, yes, please. Like get in line. And through that Tantra sexuality retreat that I was on is where I learned, like, before engaging in any sort of kink or BDSM, having a identifying self-exploration with myself of, well, what do I actually want? Like I've got to know all these things before I can even start having a great conversation with somebody to negotiate that. And it was my first container there that I did start exploring all of these ways that desires and fantasies and fetishes, especially ones that we held as shameful, it was like, well, there are ways to actually fully own them, acknowledge them, honor them, and explore them in safe ways. And I simultaneously on that retreat had an experience where I got to incorporate some BDSM into a ritual that was kind of like a releasing ritual and like a cutting the cords and detach from a past experience ritual. And I love how you actually mentioned like, unhealthy relationships, because I was coming out of that unhealthy marriage where there had been some domestic violence involved. I had previously enjoyed asphyxiation during intimacy, but for years I was like, I can't, because it brings up all of the trauma responses and whatnot. And I got to enter this ritual where I got to explore it in a way where I had my safe words and I got to tell them the things I wanted them to say that emulated previous experiences. And I had this like amazing sense of empowerment that I could actually end it at any time. And, that was a huge experience for me of like, with kink and BDSM, I can like therapeutically explore my freedom, and I can therapeutically explore sharing power. Like, sure, having my power, but also sharing power with others. And before, when you were talking about the dating apps, right? And people are like, I'm a dom. I love being dominant. It always makes me giggle, right? They're like, I love being dominant. And I'm like, oh, do you? Tell me more about that. And I love it when they do, because they literally say the things like, I like being in control and blah, blah, blah. And I'm always like, I feel like people have this really common misconception that the power dynamics are about power over or giving your power away. And I'm like, actually, it's kind of about power shared. Like the dom is sharing power with the sub, and the sub is sharing power with the dom. It's like so beautiful, so empowering, and it really does like rewrite those power control dynamics, instead of people being like, well, I'm really dominant. And I'm like, okay, sweetie, good on you.
I find kink and BDSM can be such a healing component when you are approaching it in like a conscious way and do it all consensual and in a safer way. Because
Yeah.
now that I'm doing my female domination, like stepping into like my femdom role, which I would have never thought about like 10 years ago, but I find it so healing. Now I'm like learning so much about myself and embracing so much more of that inner power that I was suppressing for a long, long time. In
Yeah.
regards to fake DOMs, or like, I would say DOM red flags, green flags, what would you say is like a red flag for someone? So now let's say there's someone single and wants to approach, I want to like learn a little bit more about kink. There is this DOM. How can I see if that's like a real one or if that's like a fake one?
Oh, that's a good question. I have also had an experience where someone was trying very hard to almost like groom me, and it happened to be a man. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't, to me, I'm very gender neutral. It just happened to be a man at this thing. And funnily enough, I think some of the red flags are very similar to abuse and domestic violence dynamics, where they're trying to tell you what to think. They're trying to tell you how you should think or feel, or what you should want or need, or especially like from the get-go. It's like that is a huge red flag to me, because a good dom is going to engage in really, really deep, safe, open discussions first about each of you. They're going to be so interested in what you like, what you don't like, what your previous history, past experiences, what you're looking to explore. They're going to be so interested in that. And they're going to be so open and vulnerable and willing to share that with you. So, you know, that any dom who's not having that conversation with you, multiple conversations, lots of deep conversations, huge red flag. And another one that just came up for me then as I was talking was, oh no, it's like slipping out of my mind as I'm trying to grab hold of it.
But to just connect with that one, that thought, I love that, because this is exactly the point. If remembering my past experience, it was, this is my way and this is like how it is supposed to be. Instead of actually use yourself, like, what are your likes? What are your dislikes? Where are your boundaries?
What are your foster care needs? What are your boundaries?
Exactly.
What do you know for you? What is a desire of yours? Like, what are you interested in exploring? What do you know you've explored in your life? Like, those deep conversations, a good, healthy, amazing, fucking powerful, grounded dom is gonna be so interested in that. You know?
And then also, no dom is the same. We all have different kind of kinks, because I always say, like, kink is like a buffet. You've got like, oh, I picked this and I picked this. We all have our favorites from our buffet that we love, and we're not eating all the same. So we need to find like compatible partners where we know like we've got similar, kink buffet pieces.
Yeah, but and that is exactly on point, and that's where those conversations we were just talking about is to find out, like, well, what's your kink buffet? When you go to the kink buffet, what do you put on your plate? Like, because you put all these things on and they mix together, and that makes your unique, like, kinky little self. And a good dom, the reason these conversations are ongoing is because what you go to the buffet and eat one night on your plate, you might go and load up your plate with something different another night, depending on how you're feeling or how your tastes have changed. Like, a good dom's going to check in with that.
Especially when someone else is plating someone, oh, that actually looks good. Maybe can I have try that? You try and you're like, oh, I didn't know I like that. Like, it looked never really appealing to me, but because it's on your plate, I like it now. And then it's like, the ball's
Yeah.
rolling. I feel like
Let's
that.
try it all. As you said, the buffet
It's
analogy in my head, I imagined myself like just diving onto the table and just like rolling around it all and being like, yes, give it all to me. I want to try it all. Um, Actually, the other thing I was going to say about a dom is that for me, I'm always interested in whether if someone wants to enter a DS dynamic with me, I'm always interested in have they experienced what it is that they're wanting to explore with me. I'm like, have you experienced that as a submissive? Like, it's not essential, but this is my personal way of doing it. I'm like, if somebody, I get lots of clients come to me, especially couples. I work with lots of couples where they're wanting to explore kink and BDSM. And if one of them is looking to really explore the more dominant role and the other's really wanting to submit, but the dominant person, the one who wants to be the more dominant, hasn't like experienced wax play before. I'm like, well, how about you experience it so that then you know what your sub, you have an idea of what your sub is experiencing or receiving. That is one way that I always work with couples, especially. Just because for me, I think a really healthy dom does have a really high level of empathy and care, right? Like as a my favorite part of a dom, especially when I go into dom dynamics, is this like even if they're asking for degradation or they're asking me to stand on them in my heels, like even if it's that stuff where people are like, how is that caring? I'm very, very caring in it. I'm very caring of their needs. Like if they want to be degraded, I'm very caring about that need and desire to be degraded. So I'm still going to be very loving and caring in that. So there is a high level of empathy. And I'm like, well, before I, enter into a role where I'm going to degrade you, have I experienced that before? And do I, even if I've just experienced it to find out I don't like receiving it, that is something I highly recommend for my couples, for my clients who are wanting to explore DS dynamics.
Yeah, this is something that I'm learning within my dominatrix, professional dominatrix training, that
Yeah.
because I have been in the sub space, I
Yeah.
actually can be a better dom because I can put myself into that situation knowing what they're actually looking for, what they're craving for. So
Yeah.
that's a really beautiful way to put it. So it's sometimes really great to, yeah, just experience it to just see how it is on the other hand. Communication is definitely very important to address, like, what are your likes, dislikes, what you want to explore, experience level, you said. I also find like boundaries and limits is a really good one, because when someone says there are no limits or I have no limits, I
Mm.
find this a huge red flag, because
Oh,
most of the time the people who say like I have no limits means actually we have no limits, I want to do like whatever I want to do, or yeah, it's just like it's a huge red flag.
it is for me too. I fully agree on that. And I have this fun way of teaching it to my newbie clients where I'm like, because sometimes they're like, well, I don't know. I don't have any boundaries. Sometimes it could be that they're just not aware of a boundary that they might have or a hard limit. But other times, yeah, it could definitely be like very egotistical of like, I just want to do whatever I want to you and I want you to just take it. So when someone, I do think it's a red flag. And when a client or someone tells me that, I'm like, okay, cool. So I would really, really like to like scalp you a little bit and just like make a cut here. I really want to see what it's like when I peel that back a bit. And they're like, okay, I got boundaries.
I've got
Like,
boundaries.
yeah, yeah. I and like there's my little masochist. I'm like, yeah, I know you do. But I
Yeah,
love,
I'm gonna brand you.
yeah, like I love giving them like a really, I go to some really hard, and there would be some people who would totally cool with the hardcore extremes that I'm offering, but most of my clients, if I give them a really hardcore extreme, they're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I've got boundaries. I'm like, yeah, I know. So funnily enough, I was going to say one of the things that's then very linked to the boundaries and the limits is a high level of emotional intelligence. A good dom
Yeah.
has a really high level of emotional intelligence and maturity, because we need to be able to identify those things within us, like those, to be able to self-explore and be like, well, what are my boundaries? What are my limits? What are my limits today? Like this might not usually be a boundary for me, but today, right now, is this a limit? Do I have the capacity? Things like that.
Yeah, very true. And like you said, sometimes they are not aware of their limits and boundaries, which is okay. Like if you're just starting and wanting to explore, you can just truly say like, I don't know, but this is like the point of like, let's start exploring it and we can like take it easy. small step at a time and then see where your boundaries are. And obviously, like you said, it's a regular check-in because it can always change. So it could be feet
Yeah.
was my boundary 10 years ago. Now, okay, worship my feet. Like,
Yeah.
love it. You're functioning, but you aren't feeling. You hold it all together. Your life, career, motherhood, relationships, and you keep pushing through. You keep managing, doing one thing and another thing, people pleasing, a life on autopilot. And underneath all of it, you ask yourself, is that really it? Is that what's life supposed to be? Your mind rarely stops. You keep overthinking. Your sleep is broken. Your digestion is off. And rest makes you feeling uncomfortable. That is your nervous system stuck in survival state. Your body has forgotten how to feel safe, how to soften, how to receive, how to feel good. And what's missing is not more effort. What's missing is pleasure, somatic pleasure. I am Patricia, an ED/DV survivor, a former nurse, mother, a pleasure explorer, and an award-winning educator in somatic pleasure. I am the founder of Pleasure Lit. My trauma-informed somatic pleasure approach blends nervous system regulation, tantra, sexuality, breathwork, yoga, meditation, identity shift, and feminine embodiment. And if this sparked something inside of you, join us within the Pleasure Lit Woman program, which is my 8-week group program, helping you from functioning to feeling radiant, regulated, and deliciously turned on. You're also invited to join us within the Pleasure Lit Circle, which is my online community membership for women, where we have got live calls, somatic practices, resources, masterclasses, and so much more. You can also explore my self-paced online courses all around pleasure and follow along Patricia's Pleasure Ed for more pleasure tips and if you like to submit your questions. When you prefer reading, you can get my #1 bestseller book, The Pleasure Lit Way. And if you like more personalized support, book yourself in for a one-on-one coaching session. For more details and how to join it all, go to pleasurelit.com. In regards to consent, can you talk a little bit about consent? We have this open, honest communication. We want to try something. Like around consent and safe words, I think it's like the next to a few steps. Can you talk a little bit around like how that should look like or can look like?
Yes. I have a big, very strict policy with myself and anyone who I engage with, and I do invite my clients to practice it as well, which is that when it comes to consent, I will not bargain up in a session. Once we're engaged in interactions, we're in an altered state, right? And so then therefore we're not giving that fully informed, unaltered consent. So I will never ever, I'm like no, solid no to bargaining up. And by that I mean like if I've said like anal penetration is an absolute boundary for me today, it's just sometimes it's not, but today it's just a no for me. And then we get into session and things start getting like flowy, or like I start getting altered, and it's like being drunk, but on a really great drug. And that's great. But if I've said no to that penetration, then I'm like, and I realize I've got the desire for it, I'm not actually going to agree to bargain up. I'm going to be like, that's great. I've learned that I have the desire for it next time. So that means next time when I'm negotiating, I might be like, anal penetration isn't a solid limit or a hard no. It's a maybe. Because then I've just turned it from a fucking boundary into a maybe, and it could be as little as like, well, it's a maybe today. So we explore with a little bit of butt plug. If that's okay, cool. But that's where I'm really, for me, this is like a personal integrity thing. And I've seen people and supported clients who really struggle afterwards with if they've crossed a boundary of themselves. Because and this is where in consent, it's really important to get really clear on boundaries and hard limits versus is this something that's like a little bit lukewarm? I'm not sure if I want to be whipped or flogged today. I'm going to leave it as a, what do you call it? Like a yellow light.
Yellow, yeah.
And then when we get to it in session and I receive one or two with, I think I just said flogger or whip, I can't remember, but then I can say, either like absolute red, nah, not today, or I could be like green, it felt good, or I could be like, that felt nice, it was a 5, I don't want it any more than a 5. Like this is where that communication gets really important with the boundaries and consent, and being clear on our consent too. So like I don't ever bargain up on a hard boundary or limit. I just allow that to be information used for next time. And I feel personally, especially as like a relationship therapist, I feel that the way that we honor our boundaries in a BDSM session is going to, like, if you expand that outwards to the rest of your life, it's like, where are all the other ways in your life where you have solid personal integrity and you honor your boundaries, versus where are you a bit porous with them and you say something's a boundary, but then you let someone step over it, or you step over it yourself. So that's why I'm really strict on the consent there. And so that's when then I encourage people, like, when you're doing the consent chats and you're discussing, like, what are we going to include in this session? What do we want to explore here? I do make sure that everyone involved is really clear on a hard boundary and limit versus I might be interested in this today. And if we do incorporate it, we start off slow, gentle, like you said, like so slow and gentle, it's baby steps. And then I'll see how I'm going, which also increases their ability to communicate during the session and process and regulate themselves as an emotional being with a nervous system. It's like builds their ability and capacity to check in with that. And then what are the absolute yeses?
For anyone listening, just in regards to limits. So Lauren has just mentioned like the traffic light system. So there's like green is like all the things that you love doing, and yellow could be like the maybe, like it depends on the situation, the context, the days. Like anal maybe isn't a thing that's every day. It's maybe like, certain days where I feel good or whatever. And then red is usually then like hard limits, which means like you do not have any interest whatsoever in doing it. And I love that approach of you of not bargaining up, because once you're in that subspace, it's easy to like, and then you're like, and then afterwards comes this crash, especially if you don't have then that like even more intense aftercare, probably because like you have done something that either stepped over your boundary or something that's like, pushed really hard limits, which can be really, really intense. So that's a good point of like, that's a hard limit for a reason. And like you said, I love that you can say like, okay, it was a hard limit. Now after this session today, I was actually considering it. So maybe we put it on the maybe list.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so passionate about that one. I'm so solid and firm on it. And honestly, for anyone who's watching, I would recommend that a good dom is also going to honor that.
Yes.
Always.
What I also liked was the explanation of how it transfers into your daily life. And for anyone who's listening who's like a people pleaser, or he knows when it comes to the bedroom, I'm like, I'm just saying like, I get along like with whatever is happening. Practice outside the bedroom. Put boundaries in place. Don't let anyone step over them. Use your boundaries outside the bedroom, and then you can transfer that into the bedroom if you struggle in the bedroom.
Yeah.
One other thing that I would like to chat about in this regards is safe words. Can you explain what safe words are and how you can use them?
Safe words are really fun and important. Lots of people like to think of crazy safe words. I'm always preferring to keep it simple, because if I am in subspace, I'm like, guys, like, have a really simple safe word, not like pineapple, or I don't know, pineapple seems okay, but not like endoscopy. Like, think of something, right? Like, think of something that your brain is going to be able to access fairly well. I love pause and red. They're my go-to, because pause is literally like hitting the pause on a remote. It could literally just be like, pause, we check in, discuss whatever feedback. Are we going straight to aftercare? Are we stopping? Like, what is, like, check in, and then what do we need and continue? I love pause. I encourage couples to use it in conflict as well. My partner and I use it in conflict. It's like, pause. Can we just breathe? I'm getting really triggered. Can we breathe? Like, I love pause. And then red is
that too in my in my previous relationship, when I said like, when we get heated and sometimes words don't help, I said, we have like a certain like I think it was a book or something, like we need to lift something up or like hold it or be like doing a sign of like we need to stop right here, like otherwise
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not going to end good.
I'm done. I need a pause. Yeah. So I love pause, especially in BDSM sessions. And red. I love red as like, okay, red, I've just maybe I've reached a limit, or maybe I've gone over a limit that I didn't realize was a limit. So I like red because it's very like cease and desist. And
Yeah.
it's and for me, I like to stipulate that these two different safe words, like the pause is like pause and check in, and then I love red that it's like cease and desist, like get all the things away, wrap them up, aftercare. I love that. And I mean, my kids even use red and pause. I even taught them to use it in like their play fighting and their tickles and stuff, so that when you're playing with someone, but it just gets too much, they would be like red, red, and then everyone knows like, oh, okay, okay, we stop.
Such a good training. Start them early, and then these are boundaries. They gonna take that over into the bedroom, and
Yeah,
it will be easier for them because it's already something that they do outside of the bedroom to easily transfer inside the bedroom.
yeah, exactly. I literally taught them like before they even start play fighting. I'm like, negotiate your agreements, guys. How's it gonna look? Like, make sure you all know your rules and agreements for this session. Use your pause, use your red. The reason safe words as well are really important too is like sometimes I mentioned before the ritual that I did, and I said that there was words that I wanted to use in the ritual. So in
Mm.
that ritual, I wanted to be able to say stop, no, fuck off, like whatever. So sometimes in BDSM, we use safe words that don't necessarily mean like stop too much,
Mm.
because some people want to be like, I want you to pleasure me or torture me until it's too much, so they'll be like, oh, it's too much, it's too much, like they want to say that. So that's why we choose safe words that aren't going to get confused with what we want to be
Yeah, yeah.
experiencing.
Like, no, no,
um,
no, I don't want that anymore. But I actually do.
yeah,
Like,
no,
continue.
no, daddy, don't do that. But it's like we do want it, so that's why I love pause and red. And then the only other thing that I do is sometimes safe words obviously are not accessible because our mouth is full and we're not able to get them out, or so I always have two backup ones, and one is a tap anywhere on their body. It's like, if you feel me tap, we're done. Like a pause, please check in with me. Like obviously take whatever's impeding my mouth, free it a little bit so we can check in. I love a tap. Or obviously if your hands are restrained and you can't tap, I tell people to hum the alphabet. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you have something in your mouth,
Mhm.
or you've got a pillow over your face and your arms are tied or whatever, somebody can hear you going,
Mm.
like, I'm like, just hum the alphabet. And then they're like, oh fuck, this person's humming the alpha, like it's
Wait,
so
what the hell?
yeah, but it's like so out of place that they're like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, we're
And I
gonna,
like that because we all have heard that song, so it should be something that we might be easily
yeah,
access.
yeah,
Because I was reading the book on trauma, how the body keeps a score on trauma, and I transferred that into BDSM kink play as well. Sometimes, even though we want to use the words, and even though we don't have anything in our mouth, we might have that phrase like we actually just can't say it.
yeah,
So and then that tapping or that humming can be
mm,
really good. And humming is also really good because it like calms your nervous system. So you're
yes,
using actually
so good
also.
for your nervous system.
I was
Yeah,
just like, this is a good one. So I'm gonna have to
yeah,
remember that one.
I love the humming one. Like I said, like, and what you just said is perfect too. Sometimes it might not even be that my mouth is full. It might
Yeah.
just be that I can feel myself like really going into a shutdown, and I just have to start humming, like, and then if I've already, if I've got a good, healthy DS dynamic going on there, and we've talked about our boundaries, our consent, our safety, they're going to go, oh, she's humming. And they're going to pause and they're going to check in with me. And if I'm not even able to verbally like maintain a check in, then they're just going to go, okay, that's a red. And they're going to wrap me up in aftercare.
What I also like now within my DOM training is to actually also take the responsibility of checking in with my sub, but not just verbally, observing them. And I think
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful way if we can see like how they tense up, they change their breathing. That's in the sign. Let's do a check in, like
Yeah.
taking that responsibility of like observing your sub as well, which is
So
like,
it's like observing the physiology. So it's like,
yes.
what's their breathing rate? Like their eyes, are their eyes dancing around? Are they rolling back? Are their pupils dilated? Is their skin flushed? Is it pale? Like, is the fucking color drained out of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, are they tense or have they just gone completely limp? Like, are they
Yeah.
shaking out the trembling? It's like having that. And obviously, sometimes some of those responses are like wanted or welcomed or
Want.
accepted, but it is going. And this is where the Dom is so caring. Like, if regardless if you're giving a hardcore session of punishment and discipline, and you're saying the words of degradation, it from the outside they're like, oh wow, it looks like this person's fucking nasty. But the good Dom is in there, still caring. They're monitoring all of those signs
Yes.
throughout. And if they see a sign and they're like, I'm not sure, they're going to check in, right? Because they might check in and the sub might be like, no, this is great, keep going. Like, I fucking love it. Yeah, and you just check in. And sometimes the check-in might be, you're telling me you're great and you love it, but some of your physical symptoms just, I'm wondering, like, where's your energy at? Like, are you starting to feel depleted or tired? Sometimes it can be things like that.
Yeah, I've also learned now within my dom role to actually use that within the play. Oh, I can see your breathing is getting faster. You like that, don't you? Or like,
Yeah.
noticing it and
Yeah.
then making them aware of it. And then they're like, oh, I am breathing faster. Yeah. Oh, she just caught me. Like, that really deepens your subspace as well again. Doms are like usually always observing. So I love that.
Yeah.
When people would like to work with you and connect with you, where can they find you?
Best place to find me currently is Instagram. And from Instagram, you can go everywhere else. My handle is at laurenvioletintimacy. And, from Instagram, you can find my YouTube channel, which is The Spicy Therapist Couch. You can find a link to my platform with all of my different offerings. I do, as I said, like one-on-one and couples. I also have so many, like I have group programs and offerings available. I have an intro to kink and BDSM course that can be done like fully self-paced online. You can then book in like all of your one-on-one sessions with me. Like, there's lots of ways to work with me. But
Awesome.
definitely start with Instagram.
Yes, go check it out, everybody. I've just got a few questions to end this episode. Really depending on if you've got something and want to share it. Do you have a favorite pleasure toy or kinky tool? And if so, would you like to share what it is and why?
Yeah, at the moment, it is my fuck machine.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, like, Daddy got it for me because he was obviously knew he was going away for 4 weeks at a time. And for me, the biggest thing was the lack of physical and sexual intimacy is huge. Absolutely huge. And yes, like I said earlier, like literally I started off and said, I love pleasuring myself. I love fucking myself. I love all of that. And the thing I love about the fuck machine is like it takes the role of the job of giving me the penetration, like, because with self-pleasure, with toys, all these things,
Yeah, you need to like
manual, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So the thing that I loved about the fuck machine is it gives me as close as I can get at the moment to that experience of receiving, like receiving the fucking, which I love. If anyone is interested in getting a fuck machine, I recommend getting a high powered one. We definitely just bought a cheap one at first, and I have to use like, I don't know if this is going into too much detail. I have to use like a
No,
lot
it's not too much detail.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I found that at first, especially with the larger dildos, my pussy would just like grip onto them, and then it would like slow down the machine. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use a smaller one, like a much smaller one, and lots of lubrication, and then that works better.
Yeah.
But you can get really high powered ones.
I had the portable machine and I had similar. Portable machine came with like a purple normal dildo. Then I bought a bigger, thicker one that was already heavier. So it was already like leaning like this. And then it didn't go in as nicely and then like stop the resistance. But then I got the Highsmith premium machine. So that one has got power, but it's an investment. It's like about $1,000.
Yes, they are an investment, which is why like we
they will last.
Yeah, because we weren't even sure. The reason we started cheap is like, well, I don't even know if I'll enjoy the fuck machine or if we'll use it lots. Like, let's try one out. And I have used it lots. We have enjoyed it. So it's definitely like, I'm so there if people are like wanting to just try a cheap one to see if they like it. It's a couple hundred maybe.
Yeah.
And then, definitely invest in a good one, high-powered one that can really deliver for you.
It can. And they also have got double adapters, so you can put two on there, or I have bought one that has a double dildo on it just to like see the difference.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which way you go. If you are after a new pleasure toy or sexy lingerie, fetish wear, remember I've got discount codes on my website at selflovepleasure.com. Like,
you can also get fleshlight attachments for
lovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We got one and we keep forgetting to try it out. Because when we're actually together, I'm like, but I have all these amazing holes.
Yeah. Use me. Don't use that one. Do you have a favorite pleasure wear that could be like lingerie or fetish wear that makes you feel really a favorite brand or?
That's a good question. I think if anything, interestingly enough, when it comes to wear, I probably actually dress up more for lovers or performances. And when it comes to my self-pleasure, as I said, I want to wear oil out in the sunshine, and nothing else. That's my favorite pleasure wear, is because for me that I initially explored self-pleasure as such a healing modality and sexual freedom, like connecting to my sexual energy and my sexual freedom. So I think I have this big giant pleasure in being naked outside, bathed in sunlight or moonlight or rain, like bathed in nature, right? Like I'm wearing the earth and I'm wearing oil and nothing else. That's my favorite pleasure wear.
Pleasure lit. Do you have a favorite book recommendation for self-love, pleasure?
Self-love or self-pleasure?
Or pleasure in general, or kink or BDSM?
Existential Kink is one I do usually recommend to people. Have you read it?
Yeah, I've started first 20 pages.
I usually get people to like explore that a little bit. I want to know how you find it when you read it. Let me know.
I will let you know. So to end this episode, I ask you one question and then we're going to leave the audience with that. So thank you for coming onto the podcast. What is your number one tip in regards to self-love or pleasure to share with the audience?
My number one tip is actually to never stop practicing it and to go out of your way to practice it, because it is the biggest self-connection ritual you will ever have with yourself. And it is an ongoing conversation with yourself, your heart, your soul, your body, that needs to be had as you move through all of the different seasons and phases and challenges and highs and lows in life. So it's never stop exploring it and go out of your way to explore it and practice it.
I love that. I would love to hear from you what has resonated the most with you from this episode. You can leave us a comment down below. And when you like this episode, make sure you follow and subscribe to the show, give it a 5-star rating, and also share it along so we can spread more pleasure into this world. You can access my free workshop at pleasurelit.com/links. Sending you lots of love and pleasure. Mwah.